Barnabas. Acts 11, verse 24. Barnabas, he was a good man, full of the Holy Spirit and faith. He was a good man, full of the Holy Spirit and faith. Well, that's something. He must have been a good person to have met up with, to have been accompanying us through life in one way or another. But that's a good challenge for us, isn't it? To just for today, to be a good person, full of the Holy Spirit. Ask for that. Ask for him, and of faith, and believe. Barnabas, this verse in Acts 11, it occurs in Antioch. And Barnabas had been sent there to check out what was going on in the church in Antioch because of the people who'd been scattered because of the persecution from Stephen, after Stephen's death, rather, that they'd gone all over the place and ended up in Antioch amongst them and had been speaking of Jesus to non-Jews, to the Greeks. Not quite so sure we should be doing that. But people were believing. So this was heard about in the church in Jerusalem, and they send Barnabas off to check it out. So Barnabas goes there, and he sees what's going on, and he says, this is the real deal. This is the real thing. And he stays there, and he encourages many people, and many people become believers. But Barnabas also, he actually heads off to meet Saul in Tarsus, verse 25. It says, Barnabas went to Tarsus to look for Saul, and he found him and brought him to Antioch. And I wonder why he did that. And I've got my little theory about that Barnabas, of course, was the person who brought Saul, having been converted, into the church in Jerusalem. Saul was an incredible defection from the opposition, and he'd become a believer, but nobody trusted him. But it was Barnabas who got alongside him and heard his story and brought him to the church in Jerusalem and said, look, this is okay. He is a good man. He's one of us now. And I am convinced that in those conversations between Barnabas and Paul, as he became known subsequently, Paul would have said to him that, you know, Barnabas, when Jesus appeared to me on the road to Damascus that time, he told me that I would suffer. But the amazing thing is, he told me that I would be one who speaks to the Gentiles about his message. And that is just the weirdest thing. How could that be? And so Barnabas would have talked with him about it and discussed it and wondered whether this should go to the Gentiles as well as the Jews. But anyway, that would have been lodged in Barnabas's mind. Things became difficult for Paul in Jerusalem, and he was squirreled away up in to the north in Tarsus. So there he is. And now later, Barnabas is in Antioch, and he's saying, hey, it's happening. Gentiles are believing in Jesus. The door is open for Gentiles. I need to tell Paul about this. So he travels from Antioch all the way to Tarsus, 100 miles or more, to get Paul and bring him to Antioch. And the two of them stay in Antioch and are involved in some incredible work there. Because Barnabas was a good man and full of the Holy Spirit and of faith. And I'm fascinated that, first of all, it was the persecution that had scattered people that had brought this wave of evangelism. We don't have persecution like that. We have kind of stay-at-home persecution currently, whereas in their day they had leave-home persecution. So they all went all over the place, and they were telling people about Jesus as they did that. But it was the persecution. It was this kind of roadblock that caused the expansion of the church. And I'm still wondering, as we all are wondering, what will be the development in our society because of the roadblocks that we're experiencing, the stay-at-home persecution. But there it is, Barnabas. He was a good man, full of the Holy Spirit and of faith. And that would be a great challenge for us, just for today, if not for tomorrow, next week, next month, this year, and beyond. To have that being said of us, we're good people, full of the Holy Spirit and of faith. May that be.